In this segment, older victims explain the need for emergency housing and describe their varied experiences with emergency housing. The executive director of the Milwaukee Women's Center also shows the domestic violence shelter rooms designed specifically for older victims.
My option to find a place to go was very important. I needed a spot. I didn't know where to go.
Okay.
And I had a friend that said, come here. And I stayed there a couple of weeks. But that's important.
If we had had a shelter for mothers, for older mothers, would you have gone into the shelter?
Yes, I would have.
Would you?
Just to get away, but there wasn't, I didn't want to go where there was a lot of kids, and I had my dog that I definitely did not want to leave, and I didn't want her in a shelter.
Okay.
So it,
Okay. What about you? You went into the shelter with both age groups. Would you
Yes.
have gone earlier, or would it have been different, do you think, if you had gone into one that was set up for older women?
I was just so desperate that I would go anywhere, but anything helped.
Okay.
But I suppose knowing that there would be somebody a little bit older, I would have been more
Okay.
receptive.
Joanne, you went into the shelter.
Oh, yes, it
When-
made such a difference in my life.
Do you remember when you went into the shelter what you took with you? What you were able to take?
What I took with me, I took a lot of fear.
Okay, but what did you physically take with you of your belongings? Do you recall?
I don't remember taking hardly anything but me into
Did you
the
take
shelter.
your birth certificate?
I was such a basket case when I first went there. Probably the first few days are a little on the blank side because I wasn't sleeping very well. If you recall, I'd sleep for maybe an hour or two and I'd wake up having nightmares. I felt like he was coming through the walls at me. And I was given the bottom bunk bed, and I felt like I was kind of safe because I'd sleep with my back up against the wall on the bottom bunk bed so that no one could get to the back of me and surprise me that way. Everything was taken care of. I really didn't need anything other than courage.
Okay.
And reassurance to know that I was going to be all right because they gave me a little package with a toothbrush and hand cream and a comb.
Okay.
The basic things that I absolutely had to have.
Going into the shelter helped me so much because there were other people with exactly the same kind of problem, even though they were not my age and they could not understand me. They thought of me as like their grandmother.
Yeah.
So this suite is built out, this room is specifically set for an individual woman with an individual bed and some space and a television. And the space is separate from the rest of our shelter where the average age is 25 to 35. There's even some acoustical dynamics that were put into the wall that allow there to be a segregation and separation of the noise, because that area, often our women in that area come with children, from babies to teenagers. So as I walk you through here and we kind of meander our way through the bathroom was set up so that it could serve women in wheelchairs and with disabilities, access to the shower, the lower toilet, the space near the sink, so that if a woman was indeed disabled and needed wheelchair accessibility, we would have that available. And as you walk through here, we come into another bedroom area, which has a larger bed, a double bed. And when we do not have women who are sleeping in this space, we often, if we have an need with our younger women and children, we will use these rooms for women and children as well. So this area recognizes that women over 50 tragically need shelter. And there are not many shelters in the country that have created a specific area that is designed to serve and meet the special needs of this population. Often the women who stay here and need the shelter bed and the food and the lodging are here longer than our 30 days, which is pretty traditional for our younger women and children. The women over 50, it's very important for us with their caseworker that we make all the linkages starting out with their medical needs and doing a very thorough and getting involved with their healthcare professionals, their internist, their primary doctor. We also do linkages with the Department of Aging. We link with other organizations if there's a need for a restraining order. So there are times that this population needs not only to get the links with the community, but they need to stay here longer. So we do not have a set time designated for the stay for this population. We want the separation for sleeping, for healing, for reading, for relaxing, so that these women do have some space that's away from the noise that comes along with the population in the shelter and the children. We do have all of our meals cooperatively and together because there is something wonderfully healing about the fact that these women not only are mingling with the other women in the shelter, but they are there and mingling with the children of the shelter. So you will often see that there will be little children who will be held by the older women. They will oversee and watch the children. They will play games and Scrabble and talk, and this population of women can be wonderful mentors and coaches to the younger women. So there have been relationships that have been formed that the older women have made with the younger women that has extended after they have left the shelter, which is very positive.